Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to discuss how to easily resize images of different aspect ratios into a standard size using ChatGPT and Node.js. And the best part? You don't need any prior experience to get started. I'll show you how ChatGPT can provide coding tips to help you resize images of various sizes to your desired dimensions. Here's an array of images with different heights and widths that we'll be using for this tutorial. So, let's dive in. To get started, we need to tell ChatGPT what we want to do. I'll let ChatGPT know that I want to resize a large batch of images with different aspect ratios to a standard size using Node.js, and ask how I can achieve this. Then, I'll enter the prompt. ChatGPT will then outline a series of guidelines and code samples to help us resize our images using the code editor. The first thing we have here is a command that we need to enter in the terminal of our code editor. At this point, make sure you have Node.js installed on your computer. If not, you can download it from www.nodejs.org. Once that's done, open your project folder in your preferred code editor. I'll be using VS Code for this tutorial. The first two lines of the command create a directory for our project, Image Resizer. We've already done this by opening our project folder in VS Code. Now, all we need to do is enter the final line of code for this initial command batch. In VS Code, I already have my project folder open, and inside it, there's a folder containing a batch of images with various aspect ratios that I want to unify into a standard aspect ratio. The next step is to create an index.html file, which is important because it will allow us to load the project on a live server whenever we make changes. Once that's done, we'll create a starter template by typing an exclamation mark and hitting enter. This will auto-generate the basic HTML structure. Next, we'll open a new terminal in VS Code where we'll input all our commands. As mentioned earlier, we'll start by entering the last line of the initial command batch from ChatGPT, npm init, then hit enter to run it. This command has successfully created a package.json file for us, which is essential for managing our project dependencies and scripts. Now, we'll input the next command that ChatGPT has outlined, npm install sharp. As explained by ChatGPT, Sharp is a library that makes it easy and efficient to resize images automatically. So, we go back to our terminal in the code editor, type npm install sharp, and hit enter to install it. Once it's done running, you'll see a packagelock.json file. This file locks the versions of our dependencies to ensure consistency across different environments. The third step provided by ChatGPT is to write the resize script. For this, we'll create a new file called resizeimage.js where we'll paste the code that ChatGPT has generated for us. To do this, we'll copy the suggested file name, go back to our code editor, and create a new JavaScript file named resizeimage.js. Once that's set up, we'll copy the code from ChatGPT again to be sure we have the latest version, and then paste it into our new script file. ChatGPT has provided us with several JavaScript variables in our code, along with a constant width of 800 and height of 600 for our images. This means that every image in our project folder will be resized to a width of 800 pixels and a height of 600 pixels. We can also see two key variables, input and output. The input folder contains the original images to be resized, while the output folder will store the newly resized images. So, our next step is to rename the folder containing the images we want to resize to input so that it matches the code. Then, we'll create a new, empty folder named output, which will hold the resized images after the process is complete. The fourth step from ChatGPT is to prepare our directories, the input and output folders for the images. However, I noticed a slight misalignment in our folder naming structure. We used a hyphen in the folder names, while ChatGPT's code uses underscores. Accurate naming is crucial when working with code because JavaScript is case-sensitive and will look for folder names exactly as specified in the code. If there's even a small mismatch in the folder name, the code won't be able to locate the images, resulting in errors. Correct naming also improves readability, making it easier to follow the code structure and quickly identify folders or files when debugging or making changes. So, to ensure that everything aligns perfectly, we'll go back to our code editor and rename our folders to match the naming structure provided by ChatGPT. This will prevent any issues and allow our code to run smoothly, recognizing the input and output folders as intended. Now, we'll go back to our index.html file and link our JavaScript file at the bottom using the script tag. Adding the script at the bottom of the HTML ensures that the commands we've entered in the terminal and the code in our JavaScript file run only after the page has fully loaded. This helps prevent issues with loading dependencies and ensures everything functions smoothly when we launch the project on the live server. Afterward, we'll go back to ChatGPT to pick up the fifth instruction, which is to run the script, meaning we'll execute the code in our script file. To do this, we'll copy the command line provided by ChatGPT, paste it into the terminal in our code editor, and hit enter to run it. As we run the script, by entering the command into our terminal, you'll notice the code starting to execute. One by one, the names of each resized image appear, confirming that each file is being processed successfully. Thanks to the Sharp library, each image from our input folder is automatically resized to the standard dimensions we set, and then saved into the output folder. Seeing each image name appear in the terminal is a great sign that our code is working as expected. The Sharp library makes this process efficient and seamless, allowing us to resize and save multiple images with just one command. Now, let's go ahead and access the resized images in our project folder through the File Explorer on our computer to see how they look. Beautiful. All our images have been automatically resized to a standard width of 800 pixels and height of 600 pixels, as you can see in the bar below, giving each image a consistent size. If we want to adjust the size of the images, we can simply change the target width and height values in our script. This time, let's set the width to 1920 and the height to 1080, converting the images to a landscape orientation. Once we've updated these values in the code, we'll go back to our HTML file, reload the live server to activate the changes, then return to our terminal. Finally, we'll re-enter the command to run our script, Node.js, and hit enter. Once again, the Sharp library seamlessly resizes our images, this time to a width of 1920 and a height of 1080. This change gives our images a wider, more rectangular landscape orientation, ideal for full-screen views. Compared to the initial set, which had a width of 800 and height of 600, these new dimensions are perfect for hero images in website development, where a wide, immersive look is often preferred. To confirm, we can go to our output folder in the project directory through the File Explorer to view the resized images. As you can see, each image now has a landscape format, making it more suited for large, full-width displays. If you check the bar below, you'll also notice the updated dimensions, which reflect the new size for these hero-style images. In the same way, we can convert the images to a portrait orientation by manually adjusting the target width and height in our code. This time, let's set the height to 1920 and the width to 1080, creating a taller, more portrait-like appearance. After making these changes, we'll reload the project in our live server to apply the updates, then return to our terminal to re-enter the script command, node resize image.js, and run the code again. Once again, the Sharp library will seamlessly resize our images, this time to a portrait size perfect for phone or mobile views. What's great is that we've achieved all of this without any prior knowledge of graphic design or the hassle of using an image editor. Sharp takes care of everything in the background, making this process simple and efficient. Now, when we look at this particular image, we can see that some details are missing. This is likely because the original image is in landscape format, and converting it to a portrait size cut off some of the content. To retain all the details while resizing, we'll go back to ChatGPT and mention that, when using the provided code to convert a landscape image to portrait, we noticed some details were missing. We'll ask how to ensure all details are preserved, regardless of the image dimensions or orientation. ChatGPT has suggested using the sharp.fit.contain strategy, which allows us to retain the full content of the image, even when changing orientations. This means we'll need to make some adjustments to our code. ChatGPT has provided a new set of code to help us accomplish this, so let's copy the updated code and paste it into our Resize image.js file. After updating our code, we'll go back to our HTML file, reload the project in the live server to activate the changes, and then return to the terminal. Finally, we'll run the script again by entering node resize image.js and pressing enter. Once again, the Sharp library does its work, but this time it ensures that every detail of the image is preserved in the new size using the sharp.fit.contain strategy. Now, when we look at these images, you'll notice that an extra white padding has been added around them, allowing each image to fit perfectly into the portrait size for phone view without losing any details. Take a look at the image that originally lost some content due to resizing. It's now fully contained, with every detail visible in this new format. This feature is incredible, as it maintains the integrity of the image while adjusting to our desired dimensions. Amazing! Now, when we look at these last two images, we can see they're already in portrait format, which makes them fit naturally into the phone view size without any adjustments. But let's try resizing them into a landscape format, using the sharp.fit.contain strategy provided by ChatGPT, to see what we get. To do this, we'll go back to ChatGPT and enter a new prompt that asks how to resize portrait images into a landscape view without losing any details. ChatGPT will provide us with updated code specifically for this adjustment, which we'll use to replace the code in our Resize image.js script file in our code editor. Once the new code is added, we'll reload the project in our live server to activate these changes, then run the script by entering node resize image.js in the terminal and pressing enter. Now we can see how the portrait images look after resizing. The new adjustments have added white padding around the edges, and the images retain their original proportions, fitting perfectly within the landscape frame. If we want to change the padding color from white to gray, we can do this by manually adjusting the script code or by going back to ChatGPT for guidance. By entering a prompt asking how to change the background padding color, ChatGPT will provide the necessary code, which we can then use to update our Resize image.js script file. Once the new code is in place, we can reload the project to see the updated padding color reflected in our resized images. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. You'll find a link to all the ChatGPT prompts we used throughout this tutorial in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks again, and see you in the next tutorial.